Hello Year 9, welcome to Lesson 2 of Spanish in the summer term. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's lesson. Please do send through any photos of your work from the last lesson or from today's lesson as well by email, so I can give you well-deserved achievement points. Today you're looking at el presente, the present tense. So pause if you need to, or continue through to the next slide. So for today's lesson, you will need the following equipment: the exercise book that the school gave you, your knowledge organizer from module 5, which is attached to class charts. You may have printed this off already, but that's not necessary. You can just open it in a tab on your computer for reference if you like. A pen. You also need a highlighter, or if you don't have one of those to hand, a different colour pen. And then if you could get some paper or card to make flashcards, that would be fantastic. I've also put on there wordreference.com, the website, which is the online translator, Spanish to English, English to Spanish, which you can also open on a tab. Now please pause to get everything ready and press play when you're ready to move to the Do Now activity. Okay, Year 9. So the title is El Presente, the present tense. And your objective today, objetivo, to practice using the present tense of AR, ER and IR verbs. Okay, for your Do Now activity, which will take around 5 minutes, I'd like you to do the following. Firstly, write today's date and title and underline them neatly. The title is El Presente. And then complete the Do Now task, which is to match up the Spanish and the English pronouns. So there's a list of the 6 pronouns in Spanish on the left-hand side, so copy those down, 1 to 6. Then what I want you to do is select from the English on the right-hand side the correct English version of that pronoun. So for example, número 1, yo, is di. So you can just put yo equals I. Pause now to complete the activity and press play to continue to the correction. Now let's check your answers. So I mentioned to you that yo is I, tú is you singular, número 3, él, ella is he or she, 4, nosotros is we, 5, vosotros is you plural, and then 6, ellos, ellas is they in the masculine form and the feminine form. And now I'm going to pass you over to Miss Reardon, who's going to teach the rest of the lesson. I hope you have a fantastic lesson. Please email me photos of your work to get achievement points, and email me if you have any questions at all about the lesson when you have it. Okay, adios.
Now we're going to look at how you form the present tense for AR, ER and IR verbs. So to form the present tense, you must follow these steps. Step 1, you must take your infinitive. I'm going to choose cocinar, to cook, one of the activities we looked at last lesson. You can see that cocinar is an AR verb. Step 2, we must remove the ending. So in this case, it's an AR verb, so we must remove the AR to be left with cocin. Step 3, we must then add the present tense endings for AR verbs, given that cocinar is an AR verb and we would like to conjugate it in the present tense. So for I cook, we left with cocin, and to say I cook, we add the letter O to the end. I cook is cocino. You cook, we add the letters AS, which is cocinas. And for he or she cooks, we add the letter A, cocina. For we cook, we add the letters AMOS. So we cook is cocinamos. For you plural cook or you all cook, we add AIS, cocináis, making sure that we know our accent is on the A. And for they cook, we add the letters AN, which is cocinan. For ER and IR verbs, we follow those steps in exactly the same way. However, we just add different endings. For an ER verb, we add the ER verb endings, and for an IR verb, we add the IR verb endings. Please now copy this explanation and table into your book. Please pause the video now. Well done for copying that into your book. You'll now have this forever, and if you're ever in any doubt about forming the present tense, you can just come back to this, remembering that your first step is to take an infinitive. You must then remove the ending, the AR, the ER and the IR, and then add the correct endings from the table below, depending on whether your verb is an AR verb, an ER verb, or an IR verb. Now you're going to have the opportunity to make 3 sets of flashcards of the present tense endings. So first off, you're going to make a set for AR verbs using the verb cocinar, to cook. You'll then make a set for the ER verb endings using the verb comer, to eat. And finally, you'll make a set for IR verbs using the verb repartir, to deliver. Just to show you what your flashcard will look like. So on one side, you will write cocino. And then on the other side of that flashcard, you'll write I cook. And so on until you've done the 6 persons. I cook, you cook, he or she cooks. We cook, you plural cook, they cook. You'll also do the same for comer and then for repartir. Remember that you have these verbs and their endings in the table which you have just copied into your book. Please spend 10 minutes now making your 3 sets of flashcards. Well done, so at this point you should now have 3 sets of flashcards. I would now like you to spend 5 minutes learning the endings on your flashcards. I'm sure that the vast majority of you will already be really familiar with these endings. It's just going to give you the opportunity to get them really solid and so that you're really confident on them. After you've paused the video for about 5 minutes, I'm going to give you a quick test on some of the verbs. Okay, so as I said, you should now have spent some time going over your endings and you should feel pretty confident knowing your AR, ER and IR verb endings. I'm going to test you on 6 verbs. The first 3 will be in Spanish and I would like you to say the English. And the final 3 will be in English and I would like you to say the Spanish. Off we go. ¿Cómo se dice cómo en inglés? ¿Cómo se dice repartimos en inglés? ¿Cómo se dice cocinan en inglés? Número 4. ¿Cómo se dice we cook en español? Número 5. ¿Cómo se dice they eat en español? Y número 6. ¿Cómo se dice I deliver en español? Okay, let's go over those. Número 1, ¿cómo? Significa I eat. Número 2, repartimos. Es we deliver. Número 3, cocinan. Es they cook. Número 4, we cook en español. Es cocinamos. Número 5, they eat. We know that they eat comes from the verb to eat, which is comer, an ER verb, and therefore they eat in español is comen. And I deliver en español es reparto. Good work, Year 9. If there were any of those 6 that you struggled to recall, please highlight them on your flashcards now. Now, Year 9, we're going to put what we have been doing into practice. So we have 5 sentences here in Spanish, which we're going to translate into English. We're going to do the first one together. So, número 1. Tocamos la guitarra todos los días. So, we see that we've got tocamos. We know that toco la guitarra from last lesson means I play the guitar. But here we have tocamos, so we need to think tocamos, what ending's that? Who are we talking about? It's an amos ending, so it's we. So we know that tocamos la guitarra is we play the guitar. And then on the end here, you've got your frequency expression, todos los días, meaning every day. Therefore, your first sentence is, we play the guitar every day. Please write the Spanish and the English for these sentences. And pause the video now to complete the translations. Well done. So you should now have got 5 sentences written in your book in Spanish with their English translations alongside them. Let's check your answers. Okay, so we're not going to go over number 1 as we already did that one together. Let's move on to number 2. Mis padres sacan fotos. This one's slightly easier because we have mis padres at the beginning. We know that mis padres translates as my parents, so therefore mis padres sacan fotos is my parents take photos. You can see that sacan was the verb I used in Spanish because if we substituted mis padres for a pronoun, it would be they. They take photos, and an is our they form for present tense AR verbs. Número 3. Mi hermana monta a caballo. Mi hermana, my sister, and we know that that vocabulary is horse riding, so therefore our answer is my sister does horse riding. Número 4. Descansas en la playa. So for this one you had to think slightly more carefully, as I didn't tell you explicitly who is doing the action. You need to look at the verb ending. Here we have descansas. So, at the end, it ends in an AS. And what you need to do is you look at that AS and you think, okay, what person of the verb is AS? And AS is our ending for U verbs for AR verbs. So, descansas en la playa means you rest or you relax on the beach. And finally, número 5, mis amigos comen muchos helados. Mis amigos, my friends. Therefore, mis amigos comen muchos helados is my friends eat lots of ice creams. You can see that mis amigos, the verb following that is comen, which is our they form, because if we got rid of mis amigos, it would become they eat lots of ice creams. Well done, Year 9. Okay, so now we're going to take our practice to the next level and translate the following 5 sentences into Spanish. But don't worry, we're going to do the first couple all together. And I've given you the vocabulary with the infinitive after each sentence. So, número 1, we sunbathe every day. So I've given you the vocabulary with the infinitive tomar el sol. First things first, we take our infinitive tomar. That's step 1. Step 2, we need to remove the AR. We're left with tom, el sol. We then need to add our ending for AR verbs for we onto the tom. So therefore, we sunbathe is tomamos el sol. We then need to add on the everyday, which is todos los días, and we have the answer. Tomamos el sol todos los días. Número 2. My sisters play guitar. So once again, I've given you the infinitive with the vocabulary. Tocar la guitarra. Step 1, we take our infinitive tocar. Step 2, we remove the AR. We're left with toc la guitarra. We now need to add the correct ending onto toc to make sure that our verb is my sisters play, rather than I play or you play. We need to choose the correct ending. So if my verb is my sisters play, that's just another way of expressing they play. So we need to add the ending for AR verbs in the they form, which is AN. So my verb will be tocan. Let's put it all together. We start with my sisters, mis hermanas. We pop our verb next, tocan la guitarra. There's your answer. Off you go now. Please pause the video and write the Spanish and the English for the sentences. Off you go. Okay, so we're going to go over the answers now. So número 3, my friend eats lots of ice creams. So to eat is comer, ER verb. We know that we take off the ER and we need to put the ending for my friend, which would be he or she. So therefore the ending is e. Mi amigo come muchos helados. Número 4, I do horse riding. A much simpler one here is we're much more used to talking about ourselves. So montar a caballo, we take off the AR from montar, we're left with mont, and then we add o because the form of the verb is I. Monto a caballo. And número 5, my parents buy souvenirs. The infinitive is comprar recuerdos. So it's my parents, also they, just like we did with my sisters, because the form of the verb was they. We take our infinitive comprar. Step 2, we take off the AR, we're left with compr. And then we need to add on the ending for they, for AR verbs, which is AN. Mis padres compran recuerdos. Please take time to make sure that you correct your answers and make sure that you've got the Spanish written next to your English perfectly. Very well done for your work today, Year 9. You've worked really well. Please could you, if you've got a little bit of time left over to make up to your full hour, conjugate the verbs comprar, beber and vivir in the present tense. You've got one of each of the infinitive endings. I hope you're looking forward to your next Spanish lesson and have a good rest of your day.